the first time I summoned a very rare epic grade divine angel beast, right there publicly at the summoning ceremony. I put it up for sale with a price tag of 10 million. Everyone mocked me, calling me a huge fool, all because the moment I summoned that divine angel, it actually walked over to a rich kid, knelt on one knee, and swore allegiance. Faced with this sudden betrayal, I decisively demanded 10 million, telling that rich kid to buy it, and demanded to choose another beast from their Chamber of Commerce as compensation. After all, no matter how high-level an unfaithful beast is, it will end up getting its master killed. Faced with this unexpected windfall, the Apocalypse Group agreed to my price and demands without hesitation. Now, inside the Apocalypse Chamber of Commerce's beast shop, a staff member leads me to the third floor, where the beasts are sold. All sorts of beasts are kept in containment units. Mr. Liu, you can choose any beast in the entire third floor hall. The staff member introduces with a smile. My gaze sweeps across the room, then stops on a monster completely covered in crimson, diamond-shaped armor. A panel quietly appears. Armored beast. Aptitude Elite Tier 1. Level Counter Auspicious 1 star. I didn't linger. I kept moving to the next one. It was a sleek, snow-white demon wolf, lazily sprawled out inside its cage. Blizzard Demon Wolf. Aptitude Elite Tier 6. Breeding Level 1 star. I walked at a leisurely pace, taking a full lap around the hall. Without realizing it, my brow had already furrowed deeply. The vast majority of the beasts for sale here were only common or elite tier. There were hardly any hero tier beasts, and the one with the highest aptitude was just a tier 2 hero rank candlelight beast. This was a far cry from what I had expected. Is this all of them? I stopped and turned to the staff member behind me. The staff member still wore that enthusiastic smile. Yes, Mr.
Liu.
Except, besides these, there are only the unsold beasts left in the basement. Those are just the rejects everyone else passed over. Most of them have incurable defects. They're scheduled to be disposed of tomorrow. I nodded. Since I'm already here, I might as well check every corner to be sure. Take me down to see them. A flicker of surprise crossed the staff member's eyes. All right, please follow me. We arrived in the basement, the beasts imprisoned here. Just as the staff said, they're either mentally broken or severely crippled. Their eyes are completely lifeless. I ignored all that, patiently checking each one as I walked past. Just as I was about to reach the end of the basement, I stopped dead in my tracks, my gaze locked onto a corner, an inconspicuous containment unit. Inside was an eagle beast with dull feathers. It was curled up in the corner, looking completely dispirited. Hunting Sheep Sword Eagle. Aptitude Heroic Tier.
Level Mortal 1 star.
Negative status Broken Talon. Poisoned by Silver Ring Snake Venom. Cultivation Suggestion Wind Rain. Tiger Bone can heal the broken talon. 7 Flavor Flower can cure the snake venom. My eyebrows twitched. This Hunting Sheep Sword Eagle's aptitude is much better than I anticipated. It might have a broken talon and be poisoned, but the panel clearly lists the cure. Jade Tiger Bone and 7 Flavor Flower are both pretty common materials. They'll be easy to get, even if the materials cost a bit. This deal is a guaranteed profit. When it's healed, it'll have a perfectly intact heroic beast with Tier 7 combat power. At this stage, this is practically the best option I'm going to find. I indeed made up my mind and was just about to speak when something deeper in the darkness caught my eye. It was an energy cage, barely tall enough for a person, completely out of place among the other massive containment units. I took a few steps closer, my pupils constricting slightly. There was a figure in the cage, leaning weakly against the cold metal wall. A human? No, it was a humanoid beast. To think the Apocalypse Chamber of Commerce was hiding a humanoid beast down here in their basement. Why was he locked up like this? Even stranger, the moment I laid eyes on him, I had an intense abnormal reaction. A wave of revulsion surged from the depths of my soul. This feeling was definitely not normal. As I moved closer again, the beast in the cage seemed to sense a living presence. He slowly raised his head and glanced at me, but then jerked it back down instantly, like he'd been shocked. In that brief moment, he looked up. I finally saw his face clearly. Terrifying, twisted patterns covered his skin, making his original features completely unrecognizable. The staff member who followed me over saw me stop in front of the cage. A look of seen it all before crossed their face. This is one of those, caught from a spatial rift. It looked like this when we found it, so nobody wants it. It's not just ugly though, it's also cursed. Its level is permanently stuck at Fangi 1 star. Tomorrow, it's getting hauled off with the other rejects to be destroyed. The staff member glared at the succubus in the cage, with undisguised disgust on their face. But I wasn't listening. My heart was pounding against my ribs like thunder. A translucent panel, that only I could see, was floating right in front of my eyes. Lilith. Thorn Succubus. Status, uncontracted. Aptitude, ordinary to epic 9th rank. Curse, sealed.
Level Fangi.
The curse can be broken with a massage, which will also raise its aptitude. When I saw epic ninth rank, my breath caught in my throat, so it was cursed. Beauty so extreme, even the gods would be jealous. This succubus named Lilith. Her original aptitude is actually as high as epic ninth rank, just one step away from being a legend. This is, by far, the highest aptitude beast I've ever seen. That angel who betrayed me isn't even worthy to carry his shoes. And look at this. Absolutely luxurious skill panel. Starting out with 3 whole skills right off the bat. More importantly, the panel actually shows a way to break the curse. It even lays out the path to further upgrade its aptitude. This means as long as I buy this beast and find those materials, I can directly obtain a terrifying existence. That's practically legendary. Just thinking about it makes my breath catch. This is the partner I've been desperately searching for. I turned to the staff member beside me and said, "I'll take this beast. Can I take him with me right now?" Inside the cage, Lilith heard my words, and her weak body suddenly trembled. Is he talking about me? Lilith snapped her head up and looked at that handsome, calm face. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. Ever since she was born, it was as if the whole world, everywhere, lurked omnipresent judgment. He had gone numb. He didn't even dare to hope anymore that anyone would accept his existence. But at this moment, this strange young man actually pointed at him, willing to sign a pre-sale contract with him. The staff member's professional smile froze slightly. He wondered if he had misheard. "Mr. Do, are you sure you want to choose him?" My reply came without any hesitation. "I'm very sure." "Arrange for us to proceed with signing the contract now." The surprise in the staff member's eyes deepened, but his strong professionalism kept him from asking anything further. "Please follow me." He then turned and led the way. Lilith followed behind, her body stiff. From the moment he was taken out of the cage, his world felt like it had descended into chaos, until they entered a quiet room, and the staff member removed his restraints. Only then did he suddenly snap back to reality. He stared blankly at the young man standing before him. "I've been cursed since birth. I can't even raise my cultivation level." Lilith mustered the courage to speak, his voice filled with struggle and fear. "Now that you have chosen me, but I cannot share your burdens, nor can I bring you any glory." The sudden voice made me frown slightly. I never expected that this cursed-looking succubus would have such a moving voice. "I have a way to break the curse on you. Are you willing to form a contract with me?" Break the curse. Lilith's heart felt as if it was being squeezed tightly by an invisible hand. "My life. From the moment you made your choice, it has already belonged to you." Lilith's voice was soft, yet carried a sense of absolute determination. Without another word,
A faint light began to gather.
gently touching Lilith's forehead, the light flickered, and an ancient contract formation emerged beneath their feet. The equal contract is formed. I turned immediately and called for the staff member waiting outside. "I need to purchase some materials. 1 feather of the Dark Knight, 5 Hell's Edge coins, 2 massage stones." The expression on the staff member's face was the same as when they heard I wanted to choose the succubus, prepared to be even more shocked. These 3 items are all extremely rare and expensive materials, especially the Supreme Dark Magic Stone. It's an exceptionally rare, high-grade material. "Mr. Liu, the total value of these materials," before he could even finish speaking, I had already handed over my terminal card. 30 million should be enough. The staff member stared at the balance displayed on the screen, completely shocked. "It's enough. Mr.
Liu,
Please wait just a moment. I'll prepare them for you immediately." His attitude became more respectful than ever before. Soon, the 3 materials radiating dark energy were carefully delivered to the private room. Only Lilith and I remained inside. "Do exactly as I say. First, absorb this feather." My voice was calm and steady, giving Lilith immense reassurance. Lilith looked at me and nodded firmly. She reached out a trembling hand and touched the night feather. The moment the feather touched her fingertip, it turned into a black stream of light and merged into her body. Next was the Hellfang. Finally, those 2 supreme dark magic stones. The moment Lilith's hand closed around the final piece of membrane, everything changed. A violent tremor erupted. An overwhelming surge of pure energy exploded outward, with Lilith at its epicenter. The force sent me stumbling backward, step after step, until my back slammed against the cold wall, finally stopping my fall. My eyes were glued to the center of the room. Countless mysterious purplish-black threads were erupting wildly from Lilith's body. They layered over one another, rapidly weaving and intertwining until they formed a massive purplish-black cocoon, completely enveloping her. The entire chamber was filled with oppressive, frigid dark energy. Staring at that black cocoon, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't terrified. According to the system's method, this wouldn't just break Lilith's curse. It would restore her potential to its peak, and maybe even push her beyond it. I've bet everything on this gamble. If it works, it'll have an ally with limitless potential. Time passed. Suddenly, the purple energy filling the room abruptly reversed, surging wildly back into the black cocoon. Then came the sharp sound of cracking, dazzling rays of golden light burst from the cracks in the black cocoon, instantly piercing the room's dimness. I couldn't help but gasp. Golden legendary aptitude. As more and more cracks spread across the black cocoon, the blinding golden light poured out from every single crevice, illuminating the entire private room like broad daylight. Suddenly, the black cocoon completely exploded. Countless purplish-black fragments scattered, but turned into the purest energy particles in mid-air. The golden light didn't last long. It quickly receded. In its place was an even deeper, more concentrated purplish-black energy. A wave of invisible energy instantly shot through the roof, and finally vanished into the void. At the same time, on the top floor of the City Hall building, Mayor Ling Huo was sitting behind his large desk, reviewing the summary of results from this year's citywide high school initial beast summoning ceremony.
Report.
The next second, Ling Huo suddenly stood up and walked quickly to the huge floor-to-ceiling window. His sharp gaze turned towards the east of the city. Just now, he had caught a fleeting, powerful aura. The vast, boundless energy contained within it made it impossible for him to calm down. "Someone come in!" Ling Huo called out. The office door immediately swung open. A sharp-looking man in uniform walked in quickly.
Mayor, your orders.
"Notify the City Guard Bureau immediately," Ling Hu said, his voice deadly serious. "Keep a close watch on the East City area. Investigate any and all anomalies, especially any signs of a spatial rift opening." The subordinate immediately acknowledged the order and turned to leave quickly. Only Ling Huo remained in the office. His face was dark with worry. An energy reaction of this magnitude could only mean three things. First, a new, unknown spatial rift has appeared nearby. Second, a terrifying monarch-level entity has arrived. Or third, a beast with legendary aptitude has been born. A monarch-level powerhouse is someone highly valued. Throughout the entire Yanhuang nation, their every move is closely watched. In the 10 years since he was assigned to Ling Yuan, he had never seen a legendary beast. In a medium-small city like Ling Yuan, even epic beasts are incredibly rare. As for the legendary set, Ling Hu was completely baffled. He had no choice but to open the unfinished report. Meanwhile, inside the quiet room, as the last trace of energy fluctuation completely dissipated, the air fell into an eerie, deathly silence. My gaze was locked firmly ahead. The sound of my heartbeat, in the quiet environment, was infinitely amplified. The light faded, and a figure stood quietly before me. Despite the composure I'd gained from living 2 lives, it was shattered completely at this moment. The beautiful figure before my eyes instantly brought 2 words to mind: stunningly gorgeous. I saw the hideous, thorny scars that previously covered Lilith's entire body had now vanished without a trace, replaced by skin as smooth and delicate
Ease white jade.
She wore a form-fitting purplish-black gown that perfectly accentuated her explosive curves. Her long, smooth black hair cascaded down like a waterfall. Slender horns on either side of her head symbolized her identity as a demon. On that face, so breathtakingly beautiful it seemed otherworldly, a pair of opal-like eyes were quietly gazing at me. With every glance, a natural charm flowed. Behind her, a pair of massive, magnificent, purplish-black butterfly wings slowly fluttered. With each flap, tiny, shimmering particles drifted down, radiating a ghostly, enchanting aura. Compared to her previous ugly, withered appearance, it was like night and day. What got my heart pounding even more was that after the transformation, Lilith's status panel had undergone an earth-shattering change. Lilith, Witch of the Night, potential, legendary first calamity.
Level. Mortal 1 star.
Cultivation. Recommended items: Orb of Eternal Night, water from the Hellspring, Dream Eye crystals. These can raise her potential. I stared at that dazzling legendary first calamity on the panel and slowly let out a breath. I'd been holding nearly 30 million chips, gambled for a legendary potential beast. This deal was an absolute steal. While I was still lost in thought staring at the panel, Lilith moved. She silently approached me, a faint, ethereal fragrance filling my nose. Those captivating eyes gazed deeply into mine, if trying to sear my image
Into the very depths of her soul.
The next moment, she extended a finger, pale and smooth as jade, and gently, she touched her own brow. I watched as a wisp of purplish-red energy, radiating an eerie light, was held between her fingers. Under my confused gaze, Lilith gently pressed that purplish-red energy onto my brow. Immediately, a mysterious, profound connection surged in my heart, completely one-sided. It was a feeling of absolute irresistible control. As if with just a single thought, I could decide Lilith's life or death. My heart jolted in shock. I immediately checked the panel. In the status bar, the equal contract I had previously signed with Lilith had quietly turned into a slave contract. I was completely shaken, unable to understand why she would do this. Lilith didn't respond right away. She took another step forward, throwing herself into my arms. A soft, tingling, yet slightly trembling voice sounded in my ear. "Master, from the moment you chose me, in that cold basement. Nothing else mattered. It was you who saved me from endless darkness and despair. Now my life, everything I am, was given to me by you. Lilith gently rests her cheek on my shoulder, her voice filled with contentment. So please, accept all of this. My entire body freezes. It's like a giant hammer just struck my heart. An indescribable warmth surges from the deepest part of my soul. I remember that light angel who publicly betrayed me. I remember his innate arrogance and betrayal, that casual, indifferent coldness. It turns out not all beasts in this world are as disgusting as he was. True loyalty and devotion can be this passionate, this pure. What Lilith is doing makes me feel a sincerity and trust I've never known before. This absolute trust and heavy emotion. I can't help but be moved. I slowly raise my hand and gently place it on Lilith's back. Feeling my response, Lilith holds me even tighter. Master, from now on,
I will cut through all thorns for you.
and clear away every obstacle. I look down at the stunningly beautiful face in my arms. A genuine smile curved the corners of my mouth. Welcome, Lilith, my very first partner. When I brought Lilith downstairs, the entire hall went silent. Everyone's gaze, whether staff or customers, was involuntarily drawn to Lilith. Their eyes were filled with awe and shock.
Oh my god. Who is that?
Is that the young man's beast? Shess, absolutely stunning. The staff member who had assisted me earlier was standing not far away, completely frozen in place now. He stared at the breathtakingly beautiful night witch, following behind me, his mind going blank. That's the ugly, defective beast from the basement. How is that even possible? But the truth was right before his eyes, leaving him no choice but to believe it. Since things had come to this, he could only force a stiff smile. That looked worse than crying, and quickly hurried over. Mr. Liu, your paperwork is all processed. You're free to leave anytime. I nodded, ignoring the astonished stares around me, and walked straight out of the guild with Lilith, only after my figure had completely disappeared out the door. Did he snap out of it like waking from a dream? He immediately rushed to his workbench and dialed the chairman's communication line as fast as he could. Chairman, something's happened. Meanwhile, at the Song family manor, Song Jianguo listened to the staff member's report, his brow furrowing slightly. You're saying that cursed Succubus restored her appearance.
Absolutely certain.
I saw it with my own eyes. She's several times more beautiful than the angel you brought back. Surprise flashed in Song Jianguo's eyes, but then his furrowed brow relaxed. So what if her appearance is restored? Her aptitude is only common grade. A defective product that can't level up. It's just useless trash that looks good, isn't it? Hanging up the call. He looked at the angel who was currently absorbing materials to increase its strength and recounted the incident as a joke. After Song Xiang heard it, a sarcastic smile appeared on his face.
You mean that poor kid?
Passed over all the elite and hero-grade heroes in our family's chamber of commerce to pick a defective product. He really is a clueless country bumpkin. It's a good thing Lin Shui chose me. Giving an epic tier beast to trash like that would have been a total waste. Beside him, the Angel of Light, whom Song Xiang had named Lin Shui, after hearing this conversation, spoke up in her cold voice. Someone easily captivated by mere appearance can never become truly strong. She slightly raised her chin, deep contempt for her former master, showing in her azure eyes. So that human named Lu Feng was actually such a superficial person, captivated by a mere outer appearance. It was a good thing she hadn't chosen to form a contract with him. Following a master like that would only have defiled her sacred angelic honor and glory. Meanwhile, Song Jianguo, seeing the reaction of his son and the angel, nodded with satisfaction. That's the kind of vision and spirit my son should have. Suddenly, his tone turned serious. The college entrance exam in 1 week is your best chance to make a stunning debut. Over the next few days, take Lin Shui to the novice secret realm and train hard. You must raise her level before the exam with an epic tier beast. First place on the novice secret realm's leaderboard is yours for the taking. Song Xiang. Hearing this, a confident and cruel smirk spread across his face. Don't worry, I'll make sure everyone knows who truly is number one among the Lin Yuan clan's younger generation. One person, one beast. When they left the Chamber of Commerce, dusk had already fallen. I walked home with Lilith. My home was in an old residential area. The house wasn't big, but it was tidy. It just felt a little lonely. 3 years ago, my parents died unexpectedly during a mission, exploring a spatial rift, leaving only me and my older sister Lu Wanyi to depend on each other. Now, my sister is attending university in the distant imperial capital, so I'm the only one left in this house. I pushed open the door, and that familiar feeling of loneliness washed over me. Make yourself at home. This will be your home from now on. Lilith didn't move. She just stood quietly in the entryway, her gaze sweeping over the simple furnishings inside, finally settling on my back. The word home was so foreign to her. From being born in darkness to being imprisoned in a cage, she had never known a place to belong. Until this young man appeared, after a simple dinner. My universal terminal suddenly rang. The word sister flashed on the screen. I answered the call. A beautiful virtual projection appeared in the center of the living room.
How is it, little brother?
The summoning ceremony is over, right? What quality is your initial beast? Quickly show sister. Lu Wanyi, on the other end of the video, seemed even more excited than I was. A barrage of questions came flying at me like cannonballs. I smiled slightly, turned sideways, and aimed the camera. Eat Lilith, who was sitting gracefully on the sofa. The moment Lu Wanyi saw Lilith, her eyes widened in disbelief. It's actually a humanoid beast. Little brother, your luck is insane. Shez, so beautiful. Hearing the praise, Lilith only gave a polite, slight nod. As a greeting, her gaze quickly returning to me, Lu Wanyi didn't mind at all. She was genuinely happy for her brother.
That's great.
With a humanoid beast, you have a much better shot at the college entrance exam this time. Then her tone became serious. Right, the beginner's secret realm opens tomorrow. You seriously can't miss this. The novice secret realm was created by the city guard and the military, working together. The highest level of abyss monsters in the trial ground won't exceed counter-auspicious 9-star.
It's the best place.
For new masters like us to level up, I silently listen to my sister's advice. While my mind races, levels in this world are divided into 9 minor realms. Having just signed my beast contract, I'm still just a rookie who doesn't even rank as ordinary tier 1 star yet. So, growing stronger as fast as possible is my top priority right now. Oh, right. The novice secret realm is only open for 3 days a year. If you get a high ranking, it'll really help with your college entrance exams. But while you're killing monsters for points, make sure you protect yourself, okay? I look at my sister's worried eyes in the projection and nod seriously. Of course, I already know all this. Don't worry, sis, I've got it under control. We chat a bit more about casual things before hanging up. Early the next morning, I take Lilith to the entrance of the novice secret realm. On the edge of the city, a massive crowd had already gathered. In front of the giant spatial portal, thousands of high school seniors, fresh from summoning their initial beasts, were clustered together here. Most of the newcomers chose to band together, hoping to increase their survival rate and efficiency within the secret realm. But when I appeared with Lilith, we instantly became the center of attention. Lilith's mysterious, elegant purple-black gown, combined with her breathtakingly beautiful face, captured the gaze of nearly every male present. Suddenly, countless invitations came pouring in. Big shot, please team up with us. We have a hero-level Gale healer in our group. I turned a deaf ear to all of them. I never had any intention of teaming up with anyone. Just as I was about to take Lilith and line up to enter the secret realm,
A voice dripping
with sarcasm called out from behind the crowd. Well, if it isn't, what's his name? What was it again? Song Xiang, surrounded by a crowd, walked straight towards me with the light angel. The angel's wings were pure and holy, its expression arrogant when its gaze landed on me. It was filled with undisguised contempt, and Song Xiang's gaze lingered on Lilith for a moment. Stunning surprise and intense jealousy flashed in his eyes, but were quickly replaced by thick sarcasm. Don't let him fool you, everyone. Song Xiang raised his voice, shouting to the crowd in an exaggerated tone. Don't be fooled by how beautiful this beast beside him looks. In reality, it's just a defective product. My Apocalypse Chamber of Commerce was about to destroy. Its aptitude is only common grade, and its level can never be raised. It's just a useless vase that looks good. As soon as he said that, the whole place erupted. The people who were enthusiastically inviting me just moments ago, their gazes instantly changed. So Hez just a flashy pushover. Everyone immediately distanced themselves from me. Seeing the crowd's reaction, the smug smile on Song Xiang's face widened. He walked up to me and showily patted the wings of the light angel beside him. See that? This is the kind of beast a real genius should have. Speaking of which, maybe I should thank you. Otherwise, how could I have contracted such a powerful beast? Unlike some people, picked up a reject and treating it like treasure. He leaned in close to me, lowering his voice, speaking at a volume only the two of us could hear, whispering with pure malice. Do you know how proactive Lin Shui is? We're completely inseparable. She's way more passionate than when she was with you. I looked at him, my expression calm. A war of words is the most boring thing in the world. I didn't care, but Lilith did. A bone-chilling killing intent flashed from her body. Her beautiful cat-like eyes became unfathomably deep, staring intently at Song Xiang. I felt Lilith's emotional turmoil. So I reached out and gently grasped her slightly cool hand. Lilith's body trembled, and that almost uncontrollable killing intent vanished instantly. She lifted her head to look at me, the coldness in her eyes melting into a gentle warmth. I didn't say a word, just shook my head at her. It's not worth arguing with a fool. Conserve your energy for now. Once we enter the secret realm, well, settle who's better with battle results and points. Lilith immediately understood her master's intention. She paid Songjiang no more attention. Reaching out, she gently wrapped her arms around mine, pressing her soft body tightly against me. Then, she cast a subtle glance at the angel behind Songjiang. Her posture was both reliant and a silent declaration. I tried to pull my arm away, but found she was holding on incredibly tight. After several failed attempts, I could only helplessly let her have her way. Seeing this was like adding fuel to the fire for Song Ziang, his face instantly flushed with rage.
Why does a poor kid,
A piece of trash, get to have such a beautiful beast throw herself at him, while his own epic great angel, though obedient, always kept a cold, distant demeanor? I couldn't be bothered to look at him again. Taking Lilith, I walked towards the glowing entrance of the secret realm. The moment we stepped through the portal, and my feet touched solid ground again, the surroundings were completely different. A cold, primordial forest. So this is the newbie secret realm. Lilith looked around warily, her purplish-black butterfly wings slightly closed, shielding both of us within them. She could feel that in this forest, countless malicious presences were lurking.
Let's go, I said calmly.
I glanced at the leaderboard on the universal terminal. It was still blank. Teleportation into the novice secret realm is completely random. Even team members are often separated. Right now, there were only the two of us in this area. We walked unhurriedly towards the depths of the forest. Lilith's senses were fully deployed, catching every rustle and movement around us. However, after walking for about 10 minutes, I stopped by an inconspicuous
Pile of rubble.
Lilith looked at me confused. There were no monster presences here. Not even the slightest energy fluctuation. I didn't explain. I just raised my finger and pointed into the rubble. A black rock that was slightly darker than the surrounding stones. In my vision, a panel that only I could see clearly emerged.
Rock monster. Aptitude, common.
Level Mortal 2-star.
Attack it! My eyelids twitched. Though Lilith had countless doubts in her heart, she didn't hesitate for a second. The air let out a slight hum. A pitch black. A massive scythe wrapped in blood-red light materialized in her hand out of thin air. Skill. Scythe of the Fallen. A scythe from the deepest depths of hell. It's wreathed in blood-red light from the underworld. Any wound inflicted by this scythe cannot be healed or recovered for a certain period of time. Lilith tightened her grip on the hilt. She moved forward like a phantom, the massive scythe in her hand tracing a cold arc.
Is.
She mercilessly slashed at the black rock. The sharp blade met no resistance, slicing through the hard rock like butter, instantly splitting it in two. The cut was smooth as glass. Just as Lilith thought, she had only shattered an ordinary
Rock.
A sudden change occurred. A ball of pale purple light slowly floated up from the split rock, then turned into a stream of light, and quickly merged into Lilith's body. A warm current spread through her entire body. Experience points. This unremarkable-looking rock was actually a monster. Lilith's pupils slightly contracted, a wave of surprise washing over her. Monsters skilled in disguise like this are a fatal threat to new beast masters. They have almost no energy signature. Its form is extremely hard to detect by perception alone. If ambushed by something like this, you'd probably be done for in an instant, maybe even wiped out. But her master. Lilith turns her head, looking at that handsome face, calm as still water. Her master's image rises even higher in her heart, becoming increasingly mysterious and imposing. Let's go. Time is limited. I start walking again. The novice secret realm is only open for 6 hours a day. If I want to level up quickly in a short time, there is no time to waste. Next, Lilith completely witnesses what a miracle looks like under my outrageously precise guidance. Lilith's scythe of sin barely stops. In less than half an hour, a surge of energy several times denser than before erupts from within Lilith. Ordinary tier 2-star. At the same time, a stream of pure energy flows back through the contract, surging into my limbs and bones. My mental power skyrockets. My physical fitness and 5 senses are also clearly enhanced. I open Lilith's panel. Lilith, Witch of the Night. Level, Ordinary Tier 2-star. Strength, 55. Agility, 58. Constitution, 52. Spirit, 65. Looking at these terrifying stats, my heart pounded. Keep in mind that 2-star rock monster from before. Its highest stat, Constitution, was only 16. But Lilith, at the same level, has stats more than 3 times higher. This is the terrifying power of legendary aptitude. Time flew by. 3 hours later, the scenery in the secret realm had changed drastically. The surrounding trees were much thicker, and the energy in the air was denser and more violent. We were already in the middle zone of the secret realm. Along the way, over 70 monsters had fallen. Eat Lilith's hands. My score had also climbed up the potential leaderboard. Master, there's a very strong presence ahead. Lilith suddenly stopped, her expression turning serious. I had already noticed through the panel that in a swamp not far ahead, Shadow Python was entrenched. Aptitude. Elite. Stage 9, level, Mortal 7-star. A 7-star elite monster. This was the highest level monster we had encountered since entering the secret realm. For rookie beast masters at this stage, this big guy, it's practically an invincible existence. Can you handle it? I looked at Lilith. Not a trace of fear showed on Lilith's stunning face. Instead, she stuck out the tip of her tongue and gently licked her bright red lips. It is my honor to clear obstacles for Master. The moment the words left her mouth, her figure vanished from the spot. The next second, she had already appeared at the edge of the swamp, dozens of meters away. In the swamp, a giant python, its entire body covered in dark green scales, suddenly raised its head. Its pair of bright red vertical pupils were firmly locked onto Lilith. It opened its huge mouth, and a stream of dark green venom sprayed out like a high-pressure water gun. Wherever it passed, the air sizzled with corrosion. Lilith's figure, however, was like a phantom, easily avoiding the giant python's attack. She waved her hand, casting a spell, and thorny vines flashing with eerie purple light shot out violently from the void behind her. Like an inescapable net, they firmly entangled the shadow python's massive body. The spikes on the thorns dug deep into the python's flesh. Skill: painful thorns. Entangled or stabbed targets will suffer bleeding, poisoning, and other continuous negative effects. The giant python let out a painful roar. It twisted and struggled frantically, but couldn't break free at all. Lilith's figure had appeared above the python's head without anyone noticing. She raised the scythe of the fallen high in her hands, her eyes filled with coldness. The pitch-black scythe carried the momentum to sever everything. It ruthlessly descended. A massive snake head soared into the air. The head tumbled twice in midair before crashing heavily into the swamp. The massive, headless snake body twitched a few times on the spot, then completely lost all signs of life. A dense ball of energy surged from the snake's corpse and flowed entirely into Lilith's body. Lilith's aura climbed steadily once again. Surging energy fluctuations spread in all directions. She reached 6-star rank. At the same time,
Even purer.
feedback energy surged into my body. I could clearly feel my mental power and physical strength had risen to another level. I glanced at the points on my terminal. A full 25,000 points. I was ranked first on the leaderboard, but this was still far from enough. Points are just a bonus for me. Killing monsters to level up is the real goal. Deeper. I didn't stop for a second. Taking Lilith, I continued advancing into other areas of the secret realm. Meanwhile, on the vast grassland deep within the secret realm, Song Xiang was hiding behind a strange rock, his eyes gleaming as he stared at the huge cave not far away. At the cave entrance, a male lion as big as a small hill, covered in dark red fur, was lying on the ground, sleeping soundly. Bloodthirsty mad lion. Aptitude: elite. Level: rank 9, mortal 7-star. And behind that lion, deep inside the cave, several strange plants emitting a faint red light were swaying in the breeze. Blood, gold flowers, and there are 3 of them. Song Zong's breathing quickened, his eyes filled with greed. Blood gold flower, a precious material that can significantly boost the strength attribute of beasts at mortal rank and below. It's practically priceless. Lin Shui, get those flowers for me. Song Zong lowered his voice,
ordering the light angel beside him.
Hesitation flickered in the Angel of Light's azure eyes. She could sense the terrifying power contained within that lion's body. If it woke up, the consequences would be unthinkable. Go already. What are you afraid of? Seeing her hesitation, Song Xiang's face twisted with impatience and fury. You're an epic tier angel. Don't tell me you're scared of an elite tier beast.
Don't forget who?
Rescued you from that piece of trash. You dare disobey my orders. The Angel of Light's wings trembled slightly, but in the end she submitted, suppressing all traces of her holy light. She became like a white shadow, silently slipping into the cave. Song Xiang waited nervously outside, his heart pounding in his chest. A few seconds later, the Angel of Light reappeared. She had successfully retrieved the 3 blood gold flowers. Ecstasy washed over Song Xiang's face. However, just as he was about to slip away with the angel, disaster struck. A deafening roar instantly shattered the silence of the grassland. The bloodthirsty mad lion was awake, its bestial eyes locked dead on Song Xiang and the angel. Violent killing intent swept over them like a physical force. The theft of the shaman completely enraged him. Hurry! Get me out of here! Song Xiang was scared out of his wits. He urged repeatedly. The light angel immediately grabbed his shoulders. With a powerful flap of its wings, it turned into a stream of light and fled into the distance. The bloodthirsty mad lion let out a furious roar. Kicking up a cloud of dust, it chased after them relentlessly.
Faster!
It's going to catch up. Song Xiang felt the bloody wind getting closer behind him. He was pale with fear, screaming frantically. The light angel had already pushed its speed to the limit, but it was carrying a person after all. Its speed was inevitably affected. Seeing the lion getting closer and closer behind them,
A vicious madness flashed in Song Xiang's eyes.
at this critical moment of life and death, the light angel's cold voice rang in his ear. There is a human team 1 kilometer ahead. Song Jiang was stunned for a moment upon hearing this. Then, an extremely malicious light burst from his eyes. Perfect. Lin Shui, lure this beast over there. Let them hold off this lion for us. Everyone, push harder. Once we finish off this pangolin, we'll be in the top 100. In the team, a girl with a high ponytail and delicate features was commanding the battle. She was my high school class president, Zhou Yutong. Right now, his team was coordinating perfectly, besieging a 5-star counter-attacking monster. Victory was in sight, but just then, a thick, bloody stench spread without warning. Then the ground began to shake violently. What's going on? Is it an earthquake? The team members' faces paled, and they all stopped their attacks. A strong sense of unease surged in Zhou Yutong's heart. She snapped her head up, looking towards the source of the shaking. She saw a streak of white light, approaching them at an incredible speed, and behind that streak of light, a terrifying, ferocious, dark red lion was charging towards them with overwhelming fury.
Run.
Zhou Yutong's pupils constricted sharply, letting out a shrill scream, but it was too late. As the white streak passed over their heads, it immediately sped away. Meanwhile, the bloodthirsty mad lion that had been lured there unleashed all of its rage upon the team that was blocking its path. Defense, quick. Zhou Yutong shouted in desperation. Her beast, a 3-star ice-type black tortoise, stepped in front immediately, raising a massive ice shield. But against a 7-star elite monster, it was all useless. The bloodthirsty mad lion casually swiped its paw, and that solid ice shield shattered like glass. The black armored turtle wailed, its massive body sent flying. Ferocious cracks spread across its shell. Zhou Yutong cried out in anguish. The other members' beasts launched their attacks, but those colorful skills, hitting the bloodthirsty mad lion, didn't even tickle it. One member couldn't dodge in time and was struck by its tail, sent flying like a broken kite, instantly losing consciousness. Despair engulfed the entire team. Zhou Yutong watched the lion approach step by step, her body frozen with fear, her limbs weak. Am I going to die? Just as she closed her eyes, ready for the end. At the final moment, a calm, familiar voice rang in her ear. Lilith, attack. The command was barely spoken, when several purple thorns materialized, instantly binding the bloodthirsty mad lion's limbs tightly. The bloodthirsty mad lion let out an angry roar, struggling frantically, only to find that the seemingly slender thorns were unimaginably tough. The more it struggled, the deeper the thorn's spikes dug into its flesh. Zhou Yutong snapped her eyes open, only to see a tall, upright figure standing in front of her, though she didn't know when he had arrived. And beside that figure, a stunning woman dressed in a purplish black gown, with magnificent butterfly wings spread behind her, was holding a pitch-black scythe, slowly walking towards the trapped lion. It's you. Zhou Yutong recognized the newcomer, but her mind was completely blank, almost unable to think. This boy who had zero presence in class, and was always so quiet, now seemed to stand tall and indomitable. And the beast beside him, under her shocked gaze, Lilith raised the falling curtain high in her hands. The cold blade traced a deadly arc, without any resistance, cleanly cleaving the massive lion's head and half its body. It was a clean, decisive strike. It was killed instantly, at the same time. In the Linyuan City Beginner's Secret Realm Monitoring Center, inside a massive circular room, dozens of light screens displayed real-time scenes and data streams from all over the secret realm. The atmosphere was so oppressive it almost solidified. Dozens of staff members in uniform were all frozen in place like they'd been hit by a binding spell, staring intently at the glaring data. On the central main screen, leaderboard, first place Lu Feng. Points, 4,350. Potential rating, S. The usual passing threshold for S-rank points is 10,000. This student named Lu Feng is actually more than 4 times the AS-rank passing line. An eerie silence lasted for a full 10 seconds. I'm not seeing things, am I? A young team member's voice was dry. As he subconsciously rubbed his eyes. How many years has it been since our Linyuan produced a newcomer with S-rank potential? The next second, the oppressive atmosphere was completely ignited. It really is S-rank. Quick, look up this Lu Feng's data. Who is he? What's his beast? Found it. The data shows his initial beast was a light angel, but the contract failed.
What? The contract failed.
How could he enter the secret realm and take first place? Wait, there's a supplementary note at the end. He bought a defective succubus at the Apocalypse Guild. The entire monitoring room instantly erupted. Everyone was completely dumbfounded by this bizarre information. A kid whose contract failed and could only afford a defective beast is actually going on a rampage in the novice secret realm. The person in charge, Zhang Ming, sitting at the main console, his perpetually stern face, was now filled with shock. His gaze was locked onto the screen. On it was a replay of Lilith and me slaying the Shadow Python and the bloodthirsty Mad Lion. No flashy tactics, just pure overwhelming dominance. That succubus, labeled as defective, was precise and lethal with every move. Elegant, yet violent.
Monster.
Zhang Ming squeezed the word out through gritted teeth. He suddenly stood up, his face flushed with extreme excitement. Report this news to Mayor Lin immediately. He roared at the adjutant beside him. The adjutant had just acknowledged when Zhang Ming waved his hand again. An unprecedented light burned in his eyes. I'll go wait at the secret realm entrance myself. On the grassland, Zhou Yutong stood dazed. The image of that earth-shattering fight still lingered in his eyes. That crazed beast that had pushed their entire team to the brink was just dead like that. Everything happening before him had completely shattered his understanding of reality. He slowly turned his stiff neck to look at the back of the figure standing in front of him. What in the world was going on? Since when did legendary humanoid beasts become so easy to obtain and ridiculously strong to boot? The surrounding team members were petrified, their faces filled with utter disbelief. The entire scene was silent, save for the sound of the wind.
Class monitor. What are you spacing out for?
My slightly amused voice broke the dead silence. Zhou Yutong snapped out of it, finally coming to her senses after the massive shock. Her cheeks instantly flushed red, and she seemed flustered.
Lu Feng, thank you for saving us.
Her tone was filled with sincere gratitude. Thank you, Big Boss Lu, for saving our lives.
Boss, you're my god.
The other team members also snapped out of it, chattering away to express their thanks. I waved my hand, not really caring about any of that. My gaze fell on Zhou Yutong. How did you guys end up provoking a big guy like that? Hearing this question, Zhou Yutong's face immediately showed anger and lingering fear. We don't know either, she explained angrily. We were besieging a pangolin. When that lion was suddenly lured over, I saw a figure in the sky, deliberately leading the lion towards us. Once we were entangled, that person ran off.
So despicable.
It looked like an angel, a team member beside her added. Zhou Yutong's words suddenly caught in her throat. She seemed to have realized something. She cautiously raised her head and looked at me. The whole school knew that Song Xiang's beast was the light angel he had snatched from me. My gaze was calm without a ripple, but those who knew me might have seen in those deep eyes
A flash of coldness.
To save his own life, Song Xiang hadn't hesitated to lead the disaster. To innocent classmates, such a despicable and shameless act was truly contemptible. I didn't pursue the topic any further. Instead, I glanced at the team members treating the injured. You guys are pretty badly hurt. This is deep inside the secret realm. You should retreat to the outer area first. Zhou Yutong nodded. She also knew that in their current state, staying deep inside was no different from seeking death. Well, leave right away. She looked at me.
What about you guys?
I smiled slightly. I looked up at the countdown on my terminal. It's still early. We want to go a bit deeper. Hearing this, Zhou Yutong's mouth opened slightly. She wanted to say something. Then be careful. I nodded. It was a farewell. I didn't linger, taking Lilith with me. I walked towards the deeper, unknown areas of the secret realm. Until the secret realm closes today, there are less than 2 hours left. I have to hurry. Not until that figure completely disappeared did Zhou Yutong withdraw her gaze. An indescribably complex emotion surging in her heart. Once upon a time, that unknown young man has already reached a height that forces him to look up. Linyuan City Municipal Building. Inside the mayor's office on the top floor, the atmosphere was slightly heavy. Mayor Ling Huo stood by the window, hands clasped behind his back, gazing out towards the eastern part of the city. Still, nothing found. His voice was low, laced with exhaustion. Behind him, Zhang Dong, the chief of the Linyuan City Guard Bureau, shook his head with a solemn expression. Mayor, after that energy fluctuation appeared last night, we immediately conducted a carpet search of the eastern city area. We didn't find any new spatial rifts, nor any records of high-ranking experts entering the city. Zhang Dong's tone was also full of confusion. That aura was as deep as an abyss, as vast as the sea, yet fleeting. If it were just an illusion, but as a heaven-rank expert, Ling Huo could absolutely not have sensed it wrong. Ling Huo remained silent, his sharp gaze flickering with thought. The unknown is what's most unsettling. He turned and sat back down behind his large desk. Forget it, just maintain the alert. How are things going with the secret realm? Are there any promising prospects this year? At the mention of this, Zhang Dong's expression relaxed a bit, but there was regret in his brow. As it stands now, the one with the best score is that kid from the Song family. Song Xiang with just over 6,000 points. His beast is an epic-grade light angel. His potential rating has already reached a rank. In previous years, this rating would have been considered top tier, but after Ling Huo heard this, he only let out a barely audible sigh. Lin Yuan hasn't produced a real genius in too long.
3 years ago,
We finally got a student with S-rank potential, who was snatched up like a treasure by Imperial Capital University. That also became one of his few shining achievements over the years, but there have been no surprises since then. A city's future ultimately depends on this younger generation. Without an injection of top-tier fresh blood, Lin Yuan will only become increasingly passive. in the competition with neighboring cities. Just as the atmosphere in the office fell silent again, the office door was slammed open. A figure stumbled in. The person who arrived was none other than the head of the newbie Secret Realm Monitoring Center, Zhang Nu. He was gasping for breath, his face a complex mix of excitement, shock, and ecstasy. "Old Zhang, what's wrong with you?" Zhang Dong saw his panicked state and couldn't help but frown. Ling Huo also looked up. "Eat this," usually calm subordinate. "Don't rush. Take your time."
What happened?
Zhang Ming swallowed hard, trying to calm his heart, which was pounding like a drum. "Mayor, we finally have another student with S-class potential." The words S-class hit like a thunderclap. They exploded loudly in the quiet office. The expression on Zhang Dong's face instantly froze. Ling Huo, who was leaning back in his chair, suddenly sat up straight. "What did you say? Are you sure you didn't misread it?"
Zhang Ming nodded heavily.
He pulled up the data from his universal terminal, his hands shaking slightly with excitement. "Yes," he presented the hologram to the two leaders. "It's absolutely true. I saw it with my own eyes. This student named Lu Feng, his points have already surpassed 40,000. Potential rating S. The moment I saw the data, I immediately ran over to report to you." Ling Huo's gaze was locked onto the hologram, his breath catching in his throat.
40,000 points.
And the data far exceeds the S-rank threshold several times over. After a brief, stunned silence, Ling Huo slammed his hand on the table and shot to his feet. His calm demeanor was instantly replaced by wild ecstasy. "Good. Good, good. This is an absolute godsend." The significance of an S-rank genius to the Lingyuan clan was far beyond comparison to an A rank. This wasn't just an achievement. It was the very hope of the Lingyuan clan's future. Beside him, Zhang Dong also snapped out of his shock. A wide smile plastered on his face. He said, "Congratulations, Mayor. This is all thanks to your excellent leadership. Our city is truly producing talent after talent." Ling Huo waved his hand dismissively. He had no patience for flattery right now. To the monitoring center, a fiery light burned in his eyes. "I want to see for myself. This little fellow named Lu Feng, just what kind of genius he really is." At that moment, Lilith and I were deep within a dark valley. Up ahead, over 20 pairs of eyes glowing with an eerie green light, lit up the gloomy valley. A pack of spine wolves. Each one was as large as an adult bull, with razor-sharp bone spurs growing along their backs. They were ferocious, and their strength was generally between 3 and 5 stars. And at the very front of the pack, a spine wolf king, with a massive body, nearly twice the size of its kin, was staring intently at Lilith and me, with its cold, cruel eyes. Mortal 7-star. This was a carefully planned ambush. Lilith's breathing was no longer as steady as before. Fine beads of sweat seeped from her fair forehead. The prolonged, high-intensity combat had taken a huge toll on her as well, but her grip on the falling curtain remained as steady as a mountain, without the slightest wavering. "Master, be careful." Lilith's voice was grave. "These beasts are more cunning than any monsters we've encountered before. We were lured into this valley while chasing a 5-star spine wolf that intentionally showed a weakness. Who would have thought these monsters, seemingly acting only on instinct, would actually know how to use a companion as bait to lure prey into an encirclement?" However, there wasn't the slightest tension or unease on my face. I just calmly scanned the wolf pack that had us completely surrounded. A faint smirk even tugged at the corner of my mouth. "Fine by me. Saves me the trouble of hunting them down one by one." The instant the words left my mouth, Lilith understood completely, her eyes filled with absolute trust as she looked at me, burning with an intense will to fight, far more powerful than before. A deeper, more profound purple-black energy erupted violently from within Lilith. Skill. Blood of the 7 sins, originating from the primal power of hell itself, the bloodline of the 7 deadly sins. Anyone possessing this bloodline has the potential to become one of the 7 great demon kings. Activating this skill boosts all stats by 200%. It can be deactivated at will.
The side effect is
Entering a brief weakened state after deactivation, reducing all stats by 20%. But compared to the sheer power of this skill, this minor side effect is practically negligible. As the skill activates, Lilith's aura skyrockets in an instant. Her long jet black hair flows without any wind, and her purple-black butterfly wings fully unfurl. Enchanting and magnificent. Those captivating opal eyes now become incredibly deep, burning with the fire of destruction. Across from her, the spine wolf king, it thought the 2 prey before it were already at their limit. But this sudden change filled it with shock and unease. However, as the overlord of this area, its ferocity quickly overwhelmed that inner unease. The wolf king let out a valley-shaking roar. It was the signal to attack. Instantly, over 20 spine wolves moved as one, from all directions, madly pouncing towards the 2 in the center of the valley. Lilith moved too. Her figure left a faint afterimage, disappearing in an instant. A flash of black, cold light. A spine wolf that was the first to pounce stopped dead in its tracks. A massive wolf head soared into the sky, before the headless corpse could even hit the ground. Lilith's figure had already appeared beside another spine wolf. The scythe of the fallen drew an elegant yet deadly arc, separating another wolf head. At this moment, Lilith seemed to have become death walking through hell. Every time she flashed, every swing of her scythe precisely and efficiently took a life. The wolf pack's seemingly fierce encirclement. They were as fragile as paper before him. In just a dozen breaths, 7 or 8 spine wolves lay dead on the ground. The spine wolf king's cold, cruel eyes were locked dead on Lilith. He thought his prey was exhausted, but that sudden burst of energy, so profound, it made his soul tremble, completely shattered his perception. A low growl rumbled in the wolf king's throat, and his massive body instinctively retreated half a step. Fear, an emotion he hadn't felt in ages, spread through his heart for the first time. But as the overlord of this territory, his long-honed killing instinct quickly overwhelmed that trace of unease. The wolf king threw his head back and howled, shaking the entire valley. This was his final desperate stand. In an instant, the remaining dozen spine wolves, along with the king himself, launched a suicidal charge at the two of them. Lilith moved, like the Grim Reaper walking out of hell. She unleashed a storm of death upon the pack. Once Lilith finished off the last of the minions, the Wolf King's bone spikes instantly bristled. He felt a threat of death like never before. Opening his massive maw, a pale white bone spear began to form within. It shot towards Lilith, tearing through the air. This was his strongest attack. Lilith's figure merely flickered slightly, easily dodging the bone spear. The next second, she was right in front of the Wolf King. The Wolf King's massive shadow completely enveloped her petite frame. He raised his sharp giant claws and slammed them down fiercely. Lilith didn't dodge or move. She just slowly raised her head, her eyes burning with the flames of destruction, quietly watching him. Her pitch-black scythe, carrying the resolve to sever fate, swung upward with brutal force. There was no earth-shattering boom, no blinding flash of colliding energy. The Wolf King's powerful claw strike froze in midair. A thin line of blood extended from his forehead all the way to his tail. The next second, with a thud, the Wolf King's massive body, along with his hard bones, was neatly split in two. A ball of pure energy surged from the Wolf King's split corpse, flowing entirely into Lilith. The aura around Lilith began to skyrocket crazily once more, breeding level 7 stars. A surge of energy radiated out from him, spreading wildly in every direction. Meanwhile, an even stronger wave of feedback energy surged through my entire body. My spiritual power skyrocketed again. I opened Lilith's panel. Lilith, Night Witch, level, mortal 7 star, strength 151, agility 165, constitution 156, spirit 172. Looking at these terrifying 3-digit stats, my heart couldn't help but race. This is what makes legendary aptitudes so terrifying. Ordinary elite grade beasts, 7 star, their strongest stat is only around 50, but Lilith's are a full 3 times higher. My gaze fell on the cultivation suggestions at the bottom. Evernight Orb, Hell, Spring Water, Nightmare Crystal. Every single one of these materials is extremely precious. If I can get my hands on these materials, I can quickly raise Lilith's aptitude to legendary tier 2. If I can keep cultivating her step by step like this until she reaches mythical grade, what a terrifying sight that will be. Suppressing my excitement, I immediately opened the Universal Terminal and connected to the network. I started browsing Lin Yuan City. I searched the material catalogs of all the major guilds, looking for every single material listed on the panel. The result was always the same: item not found. My brow furrowed slightly. It seems these things are far more precious than I imagined. At least in a medium-small city like Lin Yuan, it's fundamentally impossible to find them. A wave of disappointment washed over me, but I quickly adjusted my mindset. Thinking about this now is still too premature. The immediate priority is to pass the college entrance exam and get into a top beast master university. Only by standing on a higher platform can I access a broader world and have a chance to obtain these legendary materials. By now, there were less than 10 minutes left on the countdown.
Lilith, it's time to go,
I called softly. The purple-black energy around Lilith slowly receded. She deactivated her blood chi state. A wave of intense weakness hit her, and her body subconsciously leaned against mine. I instinctively pulled her into my arms. Holding Lilith, I turned and walked out of the valley. After that familiar dizzying sensation, I felt solid ground beneath my feet. Blinding sunlight and the city's hustle and bustle instantly replaced the cold, dead silence of the secret realm. We were back at Lin Yuan City, People's Square. The square was already filled with newcomers. Congratulations! They were gathered together, discussing their gains. When Lilith and I appeared, everyone's gaze was involuntarily drawn to us. Lilith's appearance and aura were just too outstanding. She quietly held my arm, and on that stunning face was a touch of laziness from the recent battle, adding even more heart-stirring charm. Just then, a staff member in a city guard uniform walked quickly towards us. He stood at attention and saluted. "Are you Mr. Lu Feng, I nodded. The staff member smiled. Mr. Lu Feng,
Congratulations.
in this newbie's secret realm,
You've received an S-grade potential rating.
the mayor of Lin Yuan City, Mr.
Lin Huo.
would like to invite you for a private chat.
S-grade the mayor.
Those two terms shocked the eavesdropping crowd. Their faces were filled with disbelief. Hearing this, I was stunned for a moment, but quickly snapped out of it. It seems the commotion I made in the secret realm this time was indeed a bit too big. I had no reason to refuse. I nodded calmly. Please, lead the way. Accompanied by Lilith, I followed the staff member toward the pavilion at the edge of the plaza. This pavilion belonged to the City Guard Bureau. Its grayish-white exterior looked solemn and imposing. I followed the staff member to the door of a conference room on the second floor. I pushed the door open and entered. The conference room was simply furnished. A long conference table,
A few chairs.
and nothing else. But the two people sitting at the head of the table made the atmosphere in the room exceptionally heavy. One of them I had already seen on the Linyuan City News. It was the city's highest authority, Mayor Ling Huo. The other was a middle-aged man wearing a deep blue City Guard Bureau uniform. The stars on his epaulets shone brightly, and his gaze was sharp. Chief of the City Guard Bureau, Zhang Dong. The moment Lilith and I walked in, both of their gazes snapped toward us. When they saw Lilith, even the high and mighty mayor-in-chief couldn't help but show a look of astonishment in their eyes. But they quickly composed themselves. His gaze fell back on me, filled with scrutiny and curiosity. Please, sit. Mayor Lin Huo spoke first, his voice gentle, carrying the composure of someone long in power. I didn't stand on ceremony. I pulled out a chair and sat down. Lilith stood quietly behind me, her expression cold and indifferent. I am Lin Huo, the mayor of Linyuan City, and this is Zhang Dong, the director of the Linyuan City Guard Bureau. Zhang Dong nodded slightly at me, acknowledging me. Student Lu Feng, you truly are a young hero. Lin Huo's gaze swept back and forth. Between me and Lilith, it's been many years since our Linyuan City has produced a genius like you. There was unconcealed gratification in his voice. You flatter me, Mayor. It was just good luck. I rubbed my nose and smiled. Hearing this, the smile on Lin Huo's face deepened. Not arrogant or rash, with a steady mind, his evaluation of the young man before him rose a few more notches. I remember 3 years ago, our Linyuan City also produced an S-grade genius, Xiao Lu Wanyi. What's his relationship to you? Has my brother. Ling Huo put down his teacup. He let out a hearty laugh. A family of two true talents. Both sister and brother are prodigies.
You two siblings have really brought honor to our Linyuan City.
Zhang Dong, standing beside him, also smiled. He picked up the conversation and said emotionally, I remember it very clearly. Student Lu Wanyi's initial beast back then was a 9-tailed heavenly fox with epic aptitude. In that year's college entrance exam, her performance practically crushed all of Linyuan's peers. Who would have thought that 3 years later? After another round of mutual praise, Ling Huo brought the topic back to the main point. His expression became serious. Student Lu Feng, the main reason I invited you here this time is because of one thing. Your incredibly high score broke our Linyuan City's beginner secret realm score record for the past 10 years. According to the rules, the city will give you a generous reward. When I heard the word reward, I couldn't help but
Show my delight.
Ling Hu caught my entire reaction. Looks like this kid isn't completely without desires after all. The reward is 10 million Alliance coins. It will be deposited directly into your account. Lin Huo announced that staggering figure, 10 million. That amount of money is enough for any ordinary family to instantly jump up a social class. However, my brow only twitched slightly. Then I asked Mayor Lin, can this reward be exchanged for equivalent materials? Lin Huo raised an eyebrow, a look of appreciation appearing in his eyes. What materials do you need? I was delighted internally and immediately listed the 3 materials from Lilith's panel. Hearing this, the expression on Lin Huo's face became a complex mix of surprise and strangeness. The atmosphere in the conference room grew quiet, and with that silence, my heart lifted slightly in anticipation. Student Lu Feng, do you have any idea what these 3 materials you mentioned actually mean? Lin Huo's voice became low and serious. These 3 materials are each strategic resources used for cultivating top-tier beasts. Forget about just our Linyuan City. Even in the entire Yanhuang country, they are all extremely rare. Priceless treasures. It's basically impossible to find them on the market. Hearing this, my heart sank. Ling Huo looked at the undisguised disappointment on my face and suddenly changed his tune. However, regarding the Hell Omniscience water you mentioned, our Linyuan City treasury just happens to have some in stock. A few years ago, a small spatial rift appeared in the eastern suburbs of Linyuan City. The city organized an exploration team to enter, and they brought back some Hell Omniscience water. This spring water from Hell is one of the best materials for cultivating demon-type and undead-type beasts. Because of this, its value is extremely high. According to market assessment, each portion is worth over 20 million Alliance coins. Ling Hu paused here, looking at me. That 10 million bonus won't even buy you a single drop. My heart was like a roller coaster, just soaring into the clouds, then instantly plummeting to the bottom. However, Ling Huo's next sentence gave me a glimmer of hope. But it's not impossible for you to get a portion for free. My heart skipped a beat. I almost blurted out, "What opportunity?" On Ling Huo's face, a smile of successful scheming finally appeared. Last year, in the Black Rock Mountains, southwest of Linyuan City, a brand new secret realm dungeon was born. In my mind, knowledge about dungeons immediately surfaced. Most secret realms are resource-rich lands that can be explored repeatedly. A dungeon, however, is the predecessor of a secret realm. It usually has a powerful final boss. Only by defeating the boss for the first time can you obtain the richest clear rewards. Once the boss is defeated, the dungeon slowly transforms into a secret realm for future generations. Is there anything special about exploring this dungeon? I immediately grasped the key point. Ling Huo nodded. His expression became serious. This dungeon has a realm restriction. Only mortal rank masters and beasts can enter. If any existence higher than mortal rank forces its way in, it will immediately cause the entire dungeon space to collapse. And according to the intelligence sent back by the team that entered the dungeon last year, the dungeon's final boss is a mortal 9-star spiritual type monster. I instantly understood where the crux lay. Spiritual type beasts are extremely rare to begin with, and Linyuan City is just a medium-small city. Trying to find a beast master at the mortal stage who can contend with a 9-star spiritual type monster is indeed difficult. So this dungeon has just been shelved. Zhang Dong added, "This is like a piece of fat meat right at our lips, but we just can't eat it." Wouldn't you say that's frustrating? Ling Huo couldn't help but chuckle at this point. He looked at me with burning eyes. "Student Lu Feng, there is no better candidate than you. Once this dungeon is conquered, Lin Yuan City will gain a brand new secret realm. This is a huge benefit for the entire city, and as the #1 contributor to clearing the dungeon, the city will definitely not be stingy with rewards. I don't think anyone would object to giving you that Hellspring water as your reward. At the same time,
Eat the exit of the People Square secret realm.
a tall, upright figure walked out slowly, surrounded by a crowd. The person was none other than Song Xiang. He had changed into designer casual clothes, a confident and arrogant smile on his face. Beside him, the holy and beautiful light angel, Ling Shui, followed him quietly, like a goddess untouched by the mortal world, instantly attracting the gaze of the entire audience. Is that the epic grade aptitude light angel? So beautiful. People wanting to suck up to the Song family immediately surrounded him, their faces plastered with flattering smiles.
Young Master Song, you're definitely getting first place this time, right?
With Lord Light Angel here, what do the others have to compete with you, young Master Song? Listening to the flattery pouring into his ears, the smile on Song Xiang's face grew even more smug. He reached out, easily stroking the light angel's smooth, golden hair. "Once we take first place, I'll buy you holy light essence when we get back, so you can break through to 6-star as soon as possible." Lin Shui lowered her eyes slightly, a satisfied curve appearing at the corner of her mouth.
Thank you, Master.
Song Xiang's heart was ablaze. He remembered a deal he made in the secret realm. To ensure absolute certainty, he used 3 extremely precious blood gold flowers to exchange for a full 3,000 points. Combined with the 6,000 plus points he got from hunting monsters himself, his total score had reached over 9,300 points. This score was enough to crush all the top-tier geniuses from previous years. First place definitely belongs to him. Just as he was immersed in his fantasies, a low humming sound rang out. The massive light screen in the center of the plaza finally lit up. Everyone held their breath. Countless pairs of eyes were glued to the constantly scrolling leaderboard, searching for their own names. Song Xiang's gaze, however, directly locked onto the very top of the list. Finally, the light screen flickered, and the information for the top 3 was frozen on the screen. Third place, Li Hao. Points, 3,150. Potential rating, B. Second place, Song Xiang. Points, 9,325. Potential rating, the smile on Song Xiang's face froze. How could he be in second place? He even instinctively rubbed his eyes, thinking he had misread it, but the text was crystal clear. Lin Shui's expression changed as well. Her gaze quickly swept across the list, but she couldn't find the name she subconsciously believed could absolutely never appear. Impossible. How could a piece of trash who contracted a defective membrane possibly surpass Song Xiang, who has an epic tier, Angel of Light? However, the next second, the top of the light screen was finally filled with dazzling data. First place, Lu Feng. Score, 41,350. Potential rating, S. The entire plaza instantly erupted. Am I seeing this right? Who is this Lu Feng? Is that even a humanly possible score? Meanwhile, Song Xiang's mind went blank. The 9,000 plus points he was so proud of looked utterly ridiculous next to this number. How could a piece of trash head trampled underfoot A loser who contracted a defective beast. Get an S rank rating. Intense humiliation and resentment burned away his sanity.
Cheater.
A roar burst from Song Xiang's throat. He pointed a trembling finger. Eat the name hanging high on the light screen. It has to be cheating. This is absolutely impossible. A staff member wearing the city guard uniform walked over. Student, please watch your language. All data from this secret realm has been jointly verified by the monitoring center and the mayor. There are no issues whatsoever. The ranking results are real and valid. The official confirmation extinguished Song Xiang's last illusion. His pride was completely shattered. The gazes from the surrounding crowd had also turned into undisguised pity and ridicule. Song Xiang couldn't stand to stay there any longer.
Let's go.
He grabbed the angel Ling Xue's arm. Under the watch of countless eyes, he pathetically squeezed his way out of the crowd. I swear, during the college entrance exam's practical assessment, I will definitely crush you under my heel. A resentful roar echoed in Song Xiang's heart. The angel, dragged along by him, stumbled behind him, her face pale as paper. A thought that made her very soul tremble surged up uncontrollably. Was her choice back then really the right one? Night fell. Only then did Lilith and I walk out of the attic. In the meeting room on the second floor of the attic, Ling Huo and Zhang Dong stood side by side. Watching those two figures leaving together, Zhang Dong withdrew his gaze and was the first to break the silence. Mayor, do you really think he can succeed? Ling Huo didn't answer immediately. Only after a moment did he speak slowly. Do we have any other choice? The counter question left Zhang Dong speechless. Ling Huo turned around, a meaningful smile on his face. Did you forget what grade his beast is? Legendary rank. Looking at the entire Yanhuang, how many people could gain recognition for a legendary grade talent?
At such a young age.
Other than the heaven-defying geniuses of the top noble families in the imperial capital, how many others could there be?
What's more,
You saw his performance in the secret realm with your own eyes. Trust him. He is already the most promising person in our Linyuan city. It was already past 7 p.m. when I got home. I had just sat down on the sofa when the terminal on my wrist vibrated. A video call request popped up on the screen. I pressed the answer button. A beautiful figure appeared on the screen. It was my sister, Lu Wanyi. Stinky kid, you finally decided to answer the call. After confirming I wasn't missing any arms or legs, she breathed a sigh of relief. How was it? Was this secret realm trial smooth? Everything went smoothly. Besides, with Lilith protecting me, how could I get hurt? I answered with a smile.
Lu Wanyi snorted softly.
Then immediately switched to an excited expression. Quick! Tell me how this secret realm trial went. How many points did you get? You should be able to scrape by with a first-class rating, right? I don't have high expectations. Just don't embarrass me. I looked at her feigned nonchalance, and without drawing it out, calmly said, S rank. On the other end of the screen, Lu Wanyi's expression instantly froze. She seemed to think she had misheard.
What did you say?
I said the potential rating is S rank. I repeated it. After a brief silence, Lu Wanyi's shriek erupted from the communicator. As expected of my Lu Wanyi's brother, she raised her chin proudly, as if she was the one who had received the S rank rating. After the excitement, she remembered something. By the way, what was Lilith's aptitude again? You didn't have time to tell me last time. But for you to get an S rank rating, her aptitude must be at least epic, right? It's legendary. Oh, legendary. Lu Wanyi responded subconsciously, then immediately realized, her eyes instantly widening. This shock was far greater than before. She looked at me, speechless for a long time. After quite a while, she sighed with a complex tone. You guy, you really have the damnedest luck. I smiled and didn't argue. Then the scene shifted. I recounted everything about Mayor Ling Huo seeking me out for a talk. After listening, the smile on Lu Wanyi's face instantly vanished, replaced by deep worry and seriousness. No way. It's too dangerous. That's a 9-star monster, and the most troublesome spiritual type at that. You just became a beastmaster. How can you take a risk like this? But I need the hellspring water. I interrupted her, my tone calm but firm. Lu Wanyi was stunned. She knew the value of such high-level materials, of course, and understood what it meant for a beast's growth. She fell into a long silence. Reason told her she should stop her brother from taking the risk, but she also knew how crucial opportunity was for a beastmaster if he missed this chance from the mayor. There was no telling how long he'd have to wait for another treasure of this caliber. After a long while, she let out a soft sigh. I understand. Her gaze became incredibly serious. I'll also keep an eye out for the remaining materials, like the Evernight Orb and Dream Bath Crystal, over here in the Imperial capital. But you must promise me, tomorrow when you enter the dungeon, prioritize safety. Absolutely. Do not push yourself too hard. Do you hear me? I nodded heavily. After giving a few more instructions, he hung up the call. Just then, the soft sound of the bathroom door opening came from behind. A delicate fragrance carrying moist water vapor quietly spread through the air. A warm, soft, and smooth body gently pressed up against my back. a pair of arms white as jade
Wrapped around my neck.
Lilith had just finished bathing. She was loosely wrapped in only a white bath towel. She gently rested her delicate chin on my shoulder.
Master.
Her voice was very soft. Thank you for everything you've done for Lilith. From the desperate fight in the secret realm to the strong argument in the attic, she had seen it all. She knew that everything Master did was for her. To find those precious materials that could make her stronger. This heavy emotion filled her heart with indescribable gratitude and bitterness. Lilith pressed her cheek closer. Actually, being able to meet Master and escape that damned curse, I am already very satisfied. Whether I can become stronger isn't important to me. As long as I can stay by Master's side like this and protect Master, that's enough. Her words make my heart tremble violently. I can feel the sincerity and humility in the witch's words on my back. I reach out and gently cover the pair of delicate hands still resting on my chest. My voice is low and gentle. I'm not just doing this for you, but also for myself, so that we can live better in this dangerous world. So don't overthink things. Early the next morning, Lilith and I are fully prepared. A hovercar has long been waiting quietly downstairs at the apartment. Lilith and I get in the back seat and the hovercar starts silently. It smoothly merges into traffic, heading towards the Black Rock Mountains on the edge of the city. The scenery outside the window flies past. Finally, continuous black mountain rocks fill my entire view. The dungeon entrance is located in a heavily guarded valley by the city guard. The space at the entrance appears unstable and distorted, like rippling water. Zhang Dong, the chief of the city guard bureau, had already been waiting for quite a while. When he saw me get out of the car, his tightly furrowed brows finally relaxed a little. Zhang Dong didn't waste any time on pleasantries. He walked straight up to me, pointing solemnly at the twisted gate of light, and began briefing me on the latest intel about the dungeon. This dungeon, after our numerous remote probes and intel analysis, we can confirm that the interior isn't some ordinary cave or ruin. We've named it the Swarm Labyrinth. Most of the monsters inside are controlled by the leader's mental energy. That's also what makes it so difficult. In there, you'll not only face endless waves of attacks, but you also need to watch out for the leader's mental assaults. As he spoke, he pulled a brocade box from his coat and opened it, revealing a warm, smooth yellow jade pendant, which he solemnly placed in my hand. This is Clear Mind Jade. It will boost your mental resistance, crush it in a moment of crisis, and it will form a powerful, one-time mental shield. Remember, you only get one shot. I felt a slight coolness radiating from the jade pendant, solemnly putting it around my neck. I nodded. Then, under Zhang Dong's solemn gaze, Lilith and I stepped into the inner space together. Ripples. A dizzying sense of weightlessness hit me. When I felt solid ground beneath my feet again, I was already in a completely new world. This was a massive labyrinth made of gray and black rock. The walls towered up to the ceiling. There was no sky to be seen. Only faint, eerie light filtered through cracks in the rock. Countless branching paths stretched out before me, intricate and complex. With no end in sight, the air was thick with faint mental fluctuations, like invisible tentacles, constantly picking at the nerves of intruders, trying to lure them into madness and destruction. Several dark figures suddenly lunged out from the shadows on the side. They were low-star monsters, whose minds had been twisted by the mental energy here. Their forms were grotesque, their eyes bloodshot. Lilith didn't even plan to lift a finger. She just raised her eyes, a purple sheen appearing within them. The charging bodies of those monsters instantly let out agonizing wails in midair. Their bodies began to twitch violently. Then, right in front of me, it wailed and killed itself. With Lilith's mental power, even without using skills, she can influence low-star minions. I wasn't surprised by this. I didn't wander around the maze like a headless fly. Instead, I opened the terminal on my wrist. Zhang Dong had already transferred the map, explored by the City Guard Bureau, into it. A faint blue light screen popped up before my eyes. A 3D structural map of the entire maze was clearly presented in front of me. A golden route intelligently planned by the terminal passed through layers of passages, pointing straight to the deepest part of the maze, the boss lair. With the map's guidance, we followed the golden route, moving quickly through the maze. During this time, we encountered several more waves of monsters controlled by mental power, but Lilith dealt with all of them in the simplest and most efficient way. Several hours later, the view suddenly opened up. A huge, incomparable, underground cavern appeared before us. We finally saw the final boss of this dungeon. A colossal creature was entrenched right in the center of the cavern, a massive green lump of flesh, over 10 meters in diameter. Its surface was sticky and slippery, just like a slime. A giant eyeball sat right in the center of the fleshy mass. Countless thick, translucent neural tentacles extended from the bottom of the lump, digging deep into the cave walls and the ground. I immediately opened my cheat panel. Brain Demon Stacks. Hero Rank 5. Level. Low grade 9-star, Strength 51. Agility 78, Constitution 63, Spirit 170. the moment Lilith and I appeared. The brain demon locked onto us tightly, but it didn't attack right away. A silent mental sneer radiated from it, instantly spreading throughout the entire maze. The next second, from the cave passages in all directions, a dense army of monsters surged out, like a tidal wave. These monsters had crimson eyes, having completely lost their sanity. Their levels ranged from 2-star to 5-star, and there were dozens of them. They charged forward, fearless of death, forming a desperate encirclement of flesh and blood. In front of the brain demon, the brain demon clearly wanted to use the most primitive and effective swarm tactic to wear down and kill the two enemies before it. I looked at this almost endless horde of monsters, but the expression on his face became a bit strange. I saw right through the brain demon's cautious and vicious tactics. I turned my head and whispered to Lilith beside me, "He's afraid of us. He wants to use this cannon fodder to wear down our stamina. Since that's the case, let's give him a big surprise." Lilith stepped forward. The hem of her black dress lifted slightly in the windless cave. She raised her fair, almost transparent hand and placed it before her chest. Her red lips slightly parted, and ancient, gray, fatally seductive syllables slowly flowed from her throat. The sound wasn't loud, yet it carried a soul-penetrating magic that echoed clearly in every corner of the cave, even drowning out the roar of hundreds of charging monsters. Skill, Death Prison Fog, with the caster as the center. It summons a blue-purple fog that covers the surroundings. Units that inhale the fog will fall into illusions, unable to distinguish friend from foe,
Even if not inhaled,
as long as there is skin tissue exposed to the fog for a long time. They will also be affected as the final syllable falls. A deep purple mist, so thick it seems solid, erupts from Lilith's body, rapidly spreading in all directions. The purple mist surges like a living fog with a mind of its own. Within the mist, countless enchanting, graceful figures dance, and countless stunningly beautiful faces
Smile directly at you.
The air is filled with a seductive scent that corrupts the soul. That sound enters your ears, easily evoking the most primitive, deepest desires for slaughter and destruction in any creature's heart. The surging army of monsters crashes headlong into this strange purple mist, the 5-star rock troll charging at the very front, his crimson eyes controlled by mind-altering power. The moment he touches the purple mist, the light in his eyes changes from enslaved madness to completely uncontrolled tyranny. The rock troll lets out a deafening roar. This roar is no longer aimed at Lilith and me. He suddenly turns around, his massive fist encased in hard rock, slamming fiercely into the 4-star shadow wolf beside him. The shadow wolf doesn't even have time to react before its entire head is smashed to pieces. This scene was like a signal. The brutal slaughter had begun. The moment the monster army charged into the purple mist, they completely lost control. Within mere seconds, the entire cave turned into a bloody purgatory littered with severed limbs. Standing in the center of the cave, the brain demon eyeballs, pupils constricted violently. It was unbelievable, incomprehensible, and filled with terror that chilled it to the bone. The mental control it was so proud of melted away instantly upon contact with that strange purple mist. Like dry weeds before a fire, it could clearly feel the mental link between itself and the monsters, being forcibly severed by a more domineering, higher level, and absolutely unquestionable mental power. And it wasn't just severed. That seemingly delicate and beautiful humanoid beast was actually a mental type controller countless times more terrifying than itself. I must escape immediately. This thought instantly consumed its entire mind. With a dull thud, the brain demon's bloated, slimy, massive body suddenly tore away from the jagged rock floor. The translucent nerve tentacles that had pierced into the cave walls were forcibly ripped out one by one, bringing down showers of rubble and dust. The thickest of its root tentacles, like the arms of an octopus, slid rapidly across the ground. Its massive body, a ball of flesh over 10 meters wide, moved with an astonishing speed that completely belied its immense size. It fled in panic towards the dark passage deep within the cave, trying to run. Standing in the center of the purple mist, Lilith watched the massive fleeing ball of flesh, a cold, contemptuous smirk curving her lips. Her figure left a faint afterimage. She transformed into black lightning and instantly caught up. Seeing Lilith's black phantom of death getting closer and closer, the brain demon suddenly changed direction, ignoring Lilith chasing behind it. It gathered all its spiritual power into a single point, compressing it into an intensely focused, pale white beam.
Soul Death Light.
In the next instant, the beam shot out with lightning speed, aimed directly at me. It was fast and fierce. Just as the death light was about to hit me, Lilith's figure appeared out of thin air. She had decisively abandoned the pursuit and blocked the attack from me, using her seemingly delicate back. Taking the blow head-on, Lilith let out a muffled groan. A trace of bright red blood trickling from the corner of her mouth, but she stood firm, shielding me protectively behind her. She turned back to look at me completely unharmed, her amber eyes filled with fear and relief. Seeing Lilith injured for my sake, my gaze instantly turned ice cold. I pulled a healing potion from my pouch and gave it to Lilith to drink. Once Lilith confirmed her master was safe, she slowly turned her head back. In those amber eyes that once charmed the world, nothing remained but absolute frigid killing intent and monstrous rage.
You deserve to die.
As she spoke, the blood of 7 drunkenness activated, and an indescribable, terrifying aura exploded violently from within her. Sweeping through the entire cavern, Lilith's power surged, radiating pressure several times stronger than before. The enemy trembled violently with fear. He felt it from Lilith, an irresistible, absolute suppression, originating from the depths of her bloodline. Lilith's figure vanished from the spot. The next second, a cold whisper, filled with endless malice, sounded in his ear, rang out behind the brain demon's head. Now, feel what true despair is. An indescribable, terrifying pressure centered around her, like an invisible storm, instantly sweeping through the entire space. All attributes increased by 200%. Her strength, agility, constitution, and spirit reached staggering numbers at this moment. Lilith moved. Her figure left a faint afterimage in place. The brain demon couldn't even see where the attack came from. The right side of its massive fleshy body suddenly exploded with a huge wound, deep enough to see bone. Thick, dark black blood erupted from the wound like a fountain. However, what terrified the brain demon even more was that the wound slashed open by the scythe showed no signs of healing. Instead, a strange black energy was wildly corroding the flesh around the wound, preventing all of its self-healing abilities from working. A silent mental shriek, filled with extreme pain and malice, exploded. This was the brain demon's strongest mental attack, and enough to make any monster of the same level instantly die. This mental shockwave slammed violently into Lilith, who was right in front of it. However, Lilith's, in her purple eyes burning with monstrous rage, there was only coldness and indifference. The mental shock hit her, but vanished into nothingness without causing a single ripple. Empowered by the blood of 7 sins, her mental power had long surpassed anything the brain membrane could comprehend. The attack missed, and the brain membrane fell completely into despair. Lilith's figure turned into black lightning once more, circling the brain membrane's massive body, unleashing a cruel and efficient slaughter. Every swing of the scythe left deep bone revealing wounds on the brain membrane's body. This could no longer be called a battle. Standing outside the combat zone, I calmly observed the entire fight, but my brow furrowed slightly. Through the invisible contract link between us, I could clearly feel the intense consumption of energy within Lilith. The immense power brought by the blood of 7 sins didn't come without a price. Combined with the large-scale skills she used earlier to clear out the minions, Lilith's exhaustion was immense. Even I myself felt a sharp needle-like pain in my mind from time to time. That was a sign that mental power was being excessively drained through the contract. I have to end this quickly.
Right then?
The brain demon, already dismembered beyond recognition, seemed to realize its inevitable end. Despair fueled a final burst of madness. Its remaining eyeball suddenly erupted with an intensely tragic bloody light. A destructive aura exploded violently from the core of its broken body. It gathered all its remaining life force and mental power, channeling them into a final blow. An unparalleled massive mental shockwave spread violently outwards with it as the center. And this time, the target was still me. This was its last resort to take me down with it. It firmly believed that as long as it could kill this seemingly incredibly fragile master, this terrifyingly powerful humanoid beast would also inevitably be severely injured, or even die. This mental shockwave came too suddenly. Lilith was in the middle of an attack, and trying to return to defend was already too late. On her face, for the first time, uncontrollable anxiety and panic appeared.
Master,
However, standing directly in front of the shockwave, there wasn't the slightest trace of fear on my face. I even let out a mocking sneer. I slowly raised my hand. Just before the mental shockwave hit my body, I crushed the warm jade pendant on my chest. A crisp, cracking sound rang out. A thick, earthy yellow light, like a city wall, enveloped me completely, leaving no gaps. The mental shockwave arrived with a roar, crashed against the light, and shattered violently, finally turning into countless harmless motes of light that dissipated into nothingness. Inside the light, I was completely unharmed. The brain demon showed utter despair and confusion. His consciousness was frozen in this moment forever. That pitch-black scythe wrapped in bloody light finally completed its mission. It pierced through the brain demon's core, completely erasing its last trace of life. After slaying the brain demon, a massive ball of light, unlike anything seen before, surged into Lilith's body. Lilith's body lit up with a purple radiance, and I also felt my mental power rise, and my physical fitness strengthen. Lilith leveled up again. Ordinary tier 8 star. With the death of the dungeon's final boss, the entire space began to shake violently. Massive black spatial rifts emerged on the cave walls and ceiling, Countless rocks fell rapidly like rain. The entire swarm labyrinth was heading towards destruction. The violent aura on Lilith receded. Like a tide, the side effects of the berserk blood instantly surged up. A strong sense of weakness swept through his entire body. His body fell backward. A warm and strong embrace caught him steadily. I held the pale, weakened witch tightly in my arms, preparing to activate the teleport and leave this collapsing danger zone. Just then, out of the corner of my eye, among the scattered flesh and ashes of the brain demon, a distinct, deep blue light was quietly flickering.
What is that?
My heart suddenly jumped. Holding Lilith, ignoring the boulders constantly collapsing and falling around us, I dashed over. I picked up the crystal clear core that looked like a deep-sea sapphire. The core felt warm in my hand. Inside, it seemed as if a brilliant river of stars was flowing, emitting a pure and majestic soul aura. The moment I touched this core, a line of information surfaced in my mind.
Soul Essence Core Effect.
Significantly increases the Beast Master's mental power limit, and soul strength allows mortal rank Beast Masters with sufficient mental power to open the beast space ahead of time. My breathing quickened. Beast space. That's a signature ability only possessed by Beast Masters who have reached level 0. It creates an independent dimensional space within the body, not only allowing beasts to rest and recover inside, greatly increasing their recovery speed, but it can also be used to store items. Its uses are endless. The value of this tiny golden core for a mortal rank Beastmaster is simply immeasurable. This is a completely unexpected windfall.
Rumble.
A massive boulder over several meters wide crashed down from above. I didn't have time to think. I held Lilith tighter in my arms, clutching the Soul Essence core tightly in my hand, and silently chanted teleport. When I opened my eyes again, I was already back at the entrance of the swarm maze. Over a dozen rescue workers in white protective suits quickly surrounded me. Bright beams of light swept over Lilith and me, and portable. The vital signs monitor let out a soft chime. Complex data reports flashed across the screen. Target's vital signs are stable, massive spiritual power consumption, no obvious external injuries. Target beast's life source is stable, but its energy reaction is significantly weakened. Multiple soft tissue contusions on the body, not life-threatening. The rescue personnel quickly reported the situation. Just then, a tall figure pushed through the crowd and walked over quickly. It was Zhang Dong. His face was filled with unconcealable excitement and joy. "You finally returned safely." Holding Lilith, I looked up behind me. The originally pitch-black cave had completely disappeared, leaving only a smooth rock wall. As the entrance closed, my voice was a little hoarse. Zhang Dong nodded heavily. "According to our monitoring, this unstable new dungeon has been completely shut down. Before long, a brand new, stable secret realm will form here. On behalf of all of Lin Yuan City, I thank you and your beast for your outstanding contribution." The surrounding city guard rescue members, the way they looked at me, was also filled with admiration and curiosity. Zhang Dong continued, "I know you're exhausted right now, but I still need you to briefly describe what happened inside the dungeon, especially any information about the final boss. This is extremely valuable data." Holding Lilith, I gave a concise summary of the situation, but those few words caused a massive uproar among the surrounding crowd, charging in alone into a lair with hundreds of monsters, and making the monster army slaughter each other. Everyone's gaze focused on the witch in my arms, who seemed so delicate while sleeping, their eyes filled with shock and awe. Even Zhang Dong couldn't help but gasp. Is this the power of a legendary beast? It truly is an existence beyond common sense. And this young man, facing such a desperate situation, to actually be able to calmly analyze the enemy's weaknesses and coordinate seamlessly with his beast. This level of intelligence and courage is equally terrifying. Good kid, a true hero from a young age.
Zhang Dong praised sincerely.
At this point, the head of the medical team stepped forward. "This student's body is fine. He just needs to go back, rest, and replenish his mental energy. His beast might be weak, but its injuries have been stabilized with healing potions. It just needs 2 days of rest to fully recover." Hearing that, my tense nerves finally relaxed completely. A wave of exhaustion washed over my entire body. Safe.
Lilith is okay.
Seeing how tired I looked, Zhang Dong didn't ask anything else. "Everything here is handled. Hurry home and get some good rest. Prepare for the upcoming college entrance exam." He paused, then added, "By the way, let me remind you, time flows differently inside and outside the dungeon. You felt like only half a day passed in there, but in reality, 2 full days have passed outside. 2 days have passed already." I understood. After all, it's normal for some dungeons to have a different time flow than reality. It's quite common. As for the reward you deserve, the water of the underworld spring, I'll have someone deliver it personally to your home later.
Zhang Dong promised.
"Thank you, Bureau Chief." I nodded. "I really just want to go home right now. There are too many eyes and ears here. It's not a place to linger. I must get home as soon as possible, in an absolutely safe environment. Absorb that soul essence core. A treasure like this only brings peace of mind." When it's truly converted into your own power, back in the familiar apartment, I carefully place Lilith on the living room sofa and cover her with a blanket. After 2 consecutive days of intense mental focus and combat, now that I've relaxed, I don't even have time to wash up. I just give Lilith a few simple instructions before collapsing onto my bed and falling into a deep sleep. Early the next morning, a sharp ringing from the communicator forcefully drags me out of deep sleep. Groggily, I fumble for the communicator on the nightstand and press the answer button. A crisp female voice, tinged with anger, immediately comes through. "You brat! You've been out of contact for 2 whole days. Do you have any idea how worried I was about you?" It's my sister, Lu Wanyi, who's far away at Imperial Capital University. I rub my sleepy eyes, quickly explaining that I entered the novice dungeon, and the time flow inside is different from outside. Hearing this explanation, the anger on Lu Wanyi's face finally dissipates a little, replaced by deep concern. "Then were you and Lilith injured?" "I'm fine, just a bit drained mentally." I sat up and leaned against the headboard, but Lilith, to protect me, took the boss monster's attack head-on. She got hurt a bit. Just as I finished speaking, a figure silently appeared by the bedside. Lilith handed me a glass of warm water, some color having returned to her pale face. Lu Wanyi, on the other end of the communication screen, naturally saw Lilith too. Her gaze softened considerably. "Lilith,
You worked hard this time. Thank you for protecting my troublesome little brother.
It's what I should do.
Lilith bowed slightly and replied softly. Lu Wanyi nodded in satisfaction. Then her tone shifted, and her gaze locked back onto me. "How was the harvest from this dungeon? Did you get any good stuff?" I lowered my voice. "I got a soul core." As the words left my mouth, the expression on Lu Wanyi's face instantly froze. Her beautiful eyes widened abruptly, staring intently at me. A good 10 seconds passed before Lu Wanyi's chest heaved violently a few times. Clearly, her heart was far from calm.
You kid, your luck is ridiculously good.
She didn't press for details about the battle. Instead, she immediately warned me, "Absolutely no one else can know about this thing. Find an absolutely safe place right away and absorb it." I nodded solemnly. I was planning on it. Then, my sister taught me how to use the soul gold box. Not long after hanging up, the doorbell rang. Outside stood 2 staff members, wearing city guard uniforms. I opened the door. The leader confirmed. "I am here on orders from Deputy Bureau Chief Zhang Dong to deliver the reward for your mission. Please sign for it." I took the box and thanked them, then signed my name on the handover document. The 2 city guard members saluted, then turned and left. Efficient and professional, closing the door, I opened the briefcase. An extremely cold aura rushed over me. In the center of the case lay a crystal bottle. Inside was half a bottle of liquid, black as ink. On the surface of the liquid, a faint black mist seemed to still be swirling around it. Looking at the crystal bottle in the box, I couldn't help but feel a bit emotional. Of the 3 main materials needed to upgrade Lilith's aptitude, I've finally gotten my hands on one. My gaze turned to Lilith. I handed the hell spring water to Lilith to keep safe, then took a deep breath. I pulled that soul golden core out of the storage pouch at my waist. After a night of rest, my spiritual power had completely recovered to its peak state. Lilith's body was also fine now, so she could stand guard for me. Now was the perfect time to try opening the beast's space. I sat cross-legged on the living room floor, holding the soul golden core in my palm. The core felt warm in my hand. Inside, it seemed as if billions of stars were slowly flowing, emitting a pure and majestic soul aura. Lilith stood nervously to the side, her delicate hands unconsciously clenching. She had already made up her mind. If I showed even a hint of pain during the absorption process, she would immediately, at all costs, rip that core away from me. I closed my eyes and adjusted my breathing. Slowly, I pressed the crystal to my brow. A cool sensation spread,
jolting my spirit.
I mobilized my incredibly focused mental power, like a slender yet tough probe, carefully touching the crystal on my brow. A strange hum, seemingly from the depths of my soul, exploded in my mind. In an instant, that deep blue crystal
Erupted with dazzling radiance.
If it had come alive, then the hard crystal actually began to melt. It turned into pure, ghostly blue liquid, flowing into my brow, merging completely inside. Boom! A terrifying mental pressure, far exceeding the mortal rank limit, erupted from my body without warning, sweeping through the entire room. Lilith's amber eyes suddenly constricted, her body instinctively tensing, entering the highest state of alert. She could clearly feel that the source of this power was none other than her master, sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed before her. This mental pressure was pure and majestic, even surpassing her usual mental power intensity. How is this possible? As a mental-type beast, their spiritual power intensity is far beyond anything a human can compare to. But at this moment, my spiritual power is skyrocketing crazily, defying all common sense. My mind isn't just exploding right now, it's being completely turned upside down. That faint blue torrent, transformed from soul essence, like a burst dam in the sea of my heart, brutally crashed into my spiritual world, tearing and expanding it, relying on my own powerful control. I began to guide it, letting that violent soul energy wash over me. Lilith watched me nervously, her face flushed red one moment and turned pale the next. Fine beads of sweat seeped from her forehead. She could feel that master was undergoing an unimaginable transformation. She couldn't disturb him. The only thing she could do was guard him. I don't know how long passed, until, with a sharp crack, a crisp, shattering sound echoed in my consciousness. The spiritual world before my eyes suddenly opened up. It was a boundless, quiet blue-purple void. In the center of this void floated a bright moon, emitting a soft silver-gray light. That bright moon was my soul origin. This is my beast space. I can clearly feel. My mental power limit has increased at least tenfold. More importantly, the contract link between Lilith and me has been magnified countless times within this space. I can even clearly hear Lilith's heartbeat right now. It's filled with worry,
Anxiety.
and the love buried deep within her. In the living room, the mental pressure that had erupted from me receded like a tide, completely withdrawn back into my body. My tightly closed eyes slowly opened. Deep within those black pupils, it was as if a galaxy was flowing. Lilith rushed in front of me, her beautiful eyes anxiously scanning my body to confirm if I was all right. Looking at her face, filled with worry, I didn't say much, just reached out and gently pinched her cheek. Don't worry, I succeeded.